Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal, and this is your latest news, and a lot to talk about in this one, including the latest on a new winger, the latest on a new striker, and a couple of Arsenal players who might end up leaving either this transfer window or the next transfer window. Now, people always joke about Arsenal fans saying next season. That's always a joke that is going around, or that has always been going around the last 15 years. But this time, I think it's really, really true. This time, I don't think we're just saying next season. Why? Because I feel like if next season we have another bad season, it could be at the end of a lot of people. We could end up losing one of our top defenders, one of them, the ones I'm talking about. Who knows? Maybe I think Odegaard will be here next season. If he has another bad season, it could be the end of that. If Martinelli ends up staying next season, has another poor season, could be the end of that. And as well as Mikel Arteta, I think is definitely going to be here next season. If we have another bad season next season, I think it could also be the end of him. So going into next season, if we have another poor season, it really does feel like it's do or die heading into next season. So this transfer window is very, very big. Now, obviously, we still have a Champions League semi-final. But it depends. If you win that, then going into next season, it's exciting. We'll all forget about what has happened in the league and all that. But if we don't win anything this season, and then next season as well, we don't win anything, players like Saliba who are linked to Real Madrid, you're going to talk about him in this video. Maybe they'll start thinking about, moving on, which should not be great. You want to keep most of your best players to have a chance. So let's start with the winger position. Now, for the striker position, I've always said my answer is Gyökeres. That is the striker that I want, number one target since last season. Before last season, I wanted Gyökeres, and this season it's just confirmed to me that I really, really want Gyökeres. Now, for the winger position, I've never really said, okay, it just has to be Nico Williams and no one else. No, there's other wingers we've been linked to, and there's other wingers we can get. Now, let's talk about a few of them in this video. The first one is Lookman. This is the latest on Lookman, according to Plattenberg. Arsenal have added Ademola Lookman to their shortlist for the summer. More teams are keen on him. The plan hasn't changed. Lookman is planning to take the next step this summer. Premier League is possible. The 27-year-old versatile forward is under contract with Atalanta until 2027 and has recorded 20 goals and 7 assists across all competitions this season. So those are very good, very, very good numbers, having 27 goal returns. And last season, he had 17 goals and 10 assists. So last season, he also had 27, and this season he still has a chance to add to that number. So that is a player who's delivered for more than one season. Usually, I'm a bit wary of getting a player who's only performed for one season. It's very... Pepe is a good example for us, and someone like Højlund for Man United. When you sign a player who's only had one good season, you never know what to expect. But when you start getting players like Isaac and Gyökeres and players like that who've done it for multiple seasons, that is the best way to do it. And Lookman has showed that he can do it in multiple competitions, multiple number of games. And last season, I've said he had 27 goal returns. That's 17 goals, 10 assists. And he actually missed like 6-7 games in January because he had gone to AFCON. So that could have been more than 30. And he's obviously scored a hat-trick in a Europa League final. He's a winner. He's won it for Atalanta. And this season he's had another good season. Now, he's not great at taking penalties, but we don't need him to do that. But this is a player that would be exciting. If you signed him in the winger position, he plays mostly on the left wing. It would be an exciting signing. I think we definitely need some fresh blood on the winger positions. Now, I have said I want to keep Martinelli and Trossard next season as rotation options, because we don't have enough players. Even if you sign Lookman and then he comes to the team and then he gets injured for 1 month, we don't want to go back to the same position where we don't have anyone to come off the bench. But we need exciting wingers to sign for this team. We have Trossard that delivers at the end of the season like he did last season and the previous year, and this one as well. He's got a few goals recently. But if you look at Martinelli's numbers, it's not enough. Last season, Martinelli had a poor season, and this one, again, in terms of numbers, it's poor. So you can't have two back-to-back poor seasons. As I said, last season, if Martinelli scored like 3-4 more goals, we'd have won that league last season. So going into next season again and not scoring enough goals and not getting enough assists, that is not great. So Lookman is a player that would excite me if we got him to the team. He's turning 28 in October, so that is his prime. And that is a player I would be excited to sign for sure. So how much would it be? We have to wait and see. But that is one option that you have for the winger position. Another option that you have is Rodrygo. According to reports, Arsenal have inquired for Rodrygo in recent days. The player will speak with Xabi Alonso to find out his role in the team and then make his decision. Obviously, Alonso will be Real Madrid's manager next season as expected. His starting price is close to 100 million euros. Now, that is a lot of money. I don't think Lookman will be that kind of money. Nico Williams would be 50 to 60. I'd say Lookman may be the same. But if you want the player who's won multiple Champions Leagues and all that, you want to sign Lookman? You want to sign Rodrygo? Like 85 million pounds. Now, is Rodrygo worth that kind of money? Or would you prefer getting players like Lookman or Nico Williams instead? Now, my answer would be very easy. I'd prefer to get Nico Williams or Lookman instead for half the price and use that. I'd rather get two wingers than one. So if you can get Lookman for 50 million and another winger for 40 million, I would do that instead of just signing one, because I think we're also short in numbers. We are very, very short in terms of numbers. Like, I could not believe it. We're in a Champions League semi-final and the other day we had like 5 youngsters on the bench and 3 defenders. That is crazy. We don't have enough players, and we cannot do that again going into next season. So we need multiple players. Even when you get 2 injuries, it's not the end of the season. It's not the end of your season. You still have multiple players who can come on and do the job. So Rodrygo is a great player, but would you guys be willing to pay that money? And Rodrygo plays mostly on the right wing, but I think he has a good balance of right wing. I think he's played like close to 150 games on the right wing and maybe 70, 80 on the left wing. So he does have a good balance, but he mostly plays on the right wing, and that is Saka's position. Nico Williams and Lookman, they usually play most on the left wing. Now, if you look at Rodrygo's numbers compared to Nico Williams and Lookman, we've said over the last 2 seasons, Lookman has 53 goal contributions. Nico Williams has 44 goal contributions. Now, Rodrygo has 23 goal contributions this season, and then last season he had 27. So that is 50. So those are great numbers. 44 for one, 50 for the other, 53 for the other. Those are really good numbers in terms of two seasons. Like, if you look at our wingers and most of our attacking players, I don't even think we have. Saka is the closest, and Saka was injured, so he's the only one who could be around those numbers. If you look at all our other players who play in those forward positions, maybe Havertz would come second, maybe on 30 or 35 or something like that. Not bad, but you're looking at players who are 50, 60. You look at Rafinha, Dembele. These players are dealing with 60, 70 goal contributions over the last 2 years or something. That is a player who you'll trust if they get through one-on-one. You'd be like, yeah, Rafinha will probably do something right here because he's used to getting assists, used to scoring. For our players, we can never be sure. If Trossard goes through one-on-one, if Odegaard goes through one-on-one, if Martinelli goes through one-on-one, if Jesus goes through one-on-one, Havertz, we can never be sure that they're going to score, make the right decision, because we've not been used to them making right decisions of finishing their chances across multiple games. It's never been the case. So every Arsenal fan has that feeling. There's no one who's like, oh my goodness, Trossard is through one-on-one, you're going to score this. No one is really sure. And that is because of what you've seen across the last 2-3 seasons. For players like Rafinha and Lookman and players like Rodrygo, the numbers are there, close to 60 goal contributions over the last 2 seasons. So the numbers are there. You need players who are used to scoring, players who are not scared of trying, lobbing the goalkeeper, going past the goalkeeper, stuff like that. So simple stuff like that. We need players who can do it. So Rodrygo is another player we've been linked to. Now, could it be a swap deal with Rodrygo? Because Real Madrid want Saliba. According to Fabrizio Romano, Real Madrid's interest in William Saliba is genuine, and they are ready to pounce on an opportunity, but the ball is currently on Arsenal's court. It's now on the Gunners to negotiate, offer a good contract, and to present a project to win titles. Now, do I think Saliba will be here for the next 10 years? No. Do I think he's going to be here for the next 7 years? Probably not. Do I think he's going to be here next season? Yes, no matter what happens this season. But if we go and have another bad season next year, then you'd be a little bit worried. For this year, I'm not worried. I'm not thinking Saliba is going to leave for Madrid this summer transfer window. No, I think most of the players are still going to be here next season. But that is why I said next season. We're not really just saying next season. It's a really big season for us. If we win the Champions League this season and then you win the league next season, I'd expect most of those players to stay next season. I still expect Saka and Saliba to sign new contracts this year. I still think those players still enjoy playing for Arsenal, and I know Saliba made a couple of mistakes recently, but looking at the whole season, he's still one of our best players. Like, he has a permanent role at Arsenal. He's probably going to start at Madrid if he went there. I mean, I would like to get into his mind and see what he's thinking, but I'd assume he wants to be here next season and try again. I'm sure they want to win the Premier League, most of those players. So they're like, okay, I'm not going to go to Real Madrid right now. Maybe you want to achieve this and that with Arsenal first and before leaving in the future. I think that is what they're thinking. So for Saliba, expect him to be here next season. And if we win something this year or next season, I'd expect him to be here for another like at least 2-3 years. But players are not going to be in a team for forever and ever. No, players are going to leave. You're going to need to replace them. But for this transfer window, players like Saliba should not be for sale at all. Our focus is signing forward players. If you let Saliba go, where are you going to get another defender like that? Are you going to go and spend another 90 million on a defender? Nah. So Saliba is wanted by Real Madrid, but listen, if I was even to sell Saliba, it would be like 200 million or something. So you'd have to really, really pay up for me to even think about it. And I'm not even thinking about someone like Saliba and Gabriel leaving. But Real Madrid are interested, and so you need to win titles. Maybe the only thing you can tell him is, hey, Real Madrid haven't won anything this season, same. So let's stay here for next season if it was Barcelona, maybe. Let's go back to our targets. So according to Plattenberg, once again, Andrea Bat is pushing to sign Victor Gyökeres for Arsenal. Several talks have already taken place. Alexander Isak remains high on the Gunners list, as previously revealed, but is very expensive. Man United, Chelsea, and Real Madrid are all in the race. No commitments yet. Again, with these teams being linked to that player, it reminds me, for someone like a Rodrygo, I'd not be surprised if someone like a Man City said they wanted Rodrygo if he became fully available. Everything's still open. Bayern are currently out too expensive. As exclusively revealed in October, Gyökeres can leave Sporting this summer for 60 to 70 million euros. That's around like 55 million pounds. That's really a good deal due to a verbal agreement between the player and the club. Like getting a player like this who has like 100 goal contributions in 2 seasons, that is just crazy. We need a player who's used to scoring. That is a player who's used to scoring. If we give him a chance, if Saka crosses the ball, Gyökeres knows how to finish. Like, I'm not kidding. I feel like most of our players, when the ball gets into the box, I don't know if they're sure what they're going to do because they're not used to scoring. Simple as that. And I still maintain Saka is a very, very good player. Saka is our best player. I don't even put Saka in that category of players not knowing what they're going to do. Saka is not in that category. But we have a lot of players who don't know what they're going to do, or we don't know what they're going to do. Every single other forward player apart from Saka, basically. So saying that Merino is our best forward player, that shows you something. Like if we trust Merino to have a chance ahead of Trossard or Martinelli, that tells you something. So we need a player who's used to scoring. And Gyökeres, for me, that is a guy. And I wanted him last season. He didn't join, but this season, I 100% want him. Like, what a player. So we've done meetings, there've been agent talks and stuff. So let's hope this is our first signing. That is exciting. Gittens. Arsenal have joined the race to sign 20-year-old winger Jamie Gittens. The Englishman has already announced his departure in the Borussia Dortmund dressing room. Now, Gittens, and I've watched him a few times in the Champions League this season. I played the Champions League fantasy game. I've had him in my team a few times this season, but he's not really a goal scorer. He doesn't really have the numbers in terms of goal scoring or assisting. So he's still very young. He's still learning the game as well. So, I mean, if we signed Gittens as the only option, that is not great. But if you signed Lookman, Gyökeres, and then you add Gittens, then you're like, okay, that's another option who's been at a good team. Champions League final last season. He's had a good season this season. He's not really a goal scorer and assister, but he does play well in those forward midfield positions there, in and around the number 10, number 8 area. He does play well, and sometimes the forward positions. But again, if you're looking for players who are used to doing those things, we need those players to do. Gittens is not on that level yet, but it's another option that we've been linked to. Let's see how that one goes. Players like Gittens usually end up joining teams like Tottenham and teams like that, and West Ham. I'd not be surprised, but it's still a quality player. Let's see if anything comes out of that. Lastly, Jorginho. Flamengo are hopeful of signing Jorginho before the Club World Cup in June, with discussions ongoing. So I don't know if Jorginho is going to feature for us again this season because injury. And again, when Partey was suspended, probably missed Jorginho in that game for control. But yeah, I don't know if you're going to see him again. Hopefully, he can play like some part in the last game if he's fit against Southampton. I don't think he's been a terrible signing. No, I think Jorginho has been like a solid 7 out of 10. Probably the best player signed from Chelsea, probably. So I think he served us well. And in terms of the dressing room, most of the players say that Jorginho is a great leader because he's a player who's won it for country and club. We don't really have too many players who've done that. So for Jorginho, when it comes to the time, we'll obviously thank him and wish him the best. I really wanted him to finish the league title with Arsenal, but doesn't look like it's going to be. But let's see what happens with that one as well. So again, big game against PSG coming up, and a big transfer window. Like if you lost to PSG on Wednesday, you just know the mood is going to be very down heading towards the transfer window. But hopefully the appointment of Andrea Berta and the way we messed up in these 2 transfer windows, it shows them that, yeah, we cannot do that again. We cannot. The consequences would be too bad because there's a chance both Liverpool and Man City finish ahead of us this season. And then if you mess up another season, you never know. Teams like Chelsea could catch up with you, Newcastle could catch up with you, and all of a sudden there's 3 better teams than you. You don't want that. Last season, it was only Man City. This one, it's only been Liverpool. You don't want to get to 3-4 teams that are better than you. And I still think we have a very good team. You just need to add in the positions that we need. And we need enough players. We don't have enough players in this team. So let me know what you make about all that. Would you prefer Rodrygo, Lookman, Nico Williams? Who would you want? Would you want 2 of them? Do you think, would you pay the 83 million for Rodrygo if he became available? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.